Welcome to 20 Before 20, our 20-minute podcast where we get to know an artist before they come to downtown Lake Orion to play 20 Front Street. Hard to believe it's already the third month of the year. This is our March edition of 20 Before 20, and I'm excited to be joined by folk Americana duo who also happen to be sisters, the Burney Sisters, who will be joining us at 20 Front Street in downtown Lake Orion on March 28th. Tickets are still available, so please jump on our website, 20frontstreet.com, and grab those tickets while they last. So please welcome to the podcast, Emma and Bella Burney. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. We're happy to be here. Thanks for having us on.
No, I'm super excited that you guys are coming back to 20 Front Street, and I want to talk about some recent things that have been going on. As recent as February 28th, you guys dropped a new single, Seed I've Sown. That's the first single off what will eventually be a new EP, and then another new single coming in April. Talk about how it feels to have this new music kind of out in the universe and what that's doing for you guys.
Yeah,
It feels amazing.
It feels amazing to finally have this song out. We've received tons of love the past few weeks. I think we got 30K streams in 2 weeks, which is the most we've ever gotten on a single. So we're very, very grateful for all the support we've gotten on it. And we also have a single that's upcoming on April 11th, and we're really excited for what's going to be happening the rest of the year.
And I know that's kind of what a lot of artists are doing these days, where you release the singles kind of one at a time, but that will lead eventually to the whole EP being released. When will that be?
Yeah, we're thinking August or September, sometime in the fall.
Okay, and do you know how many total tracks will be on the new EP?
5 tracks.
5 tracks. Very, very cool. All right, well, that's kind of some of the recent success, and I know a tour is going to go along with that. But let's I always like to, especially with the sibling duos that I've had a chance to talk to over the years, go all the way back to the beginning in your childhood, which I believe you grew up in the Missouri area. And always interested to hear, it sounds like in your household there was kind of instruments in your hands from a very early age. And you guys also have another sister as well. But kind of talk about growing up in that early start and kind of developing that love for music.
Yeah, so music has always been a very big part of our lives, even when we didn't have, the idea of even doing it professionally. Our mom used to sing to us growing up, and she actually taught us harmonies before we even knew that it was harmony she was teaching us. She'd be like, Bella, you sing this note, I'll sing this note, Olivia, you sing this note. So that's kind of how we learned to pick out harmonies from ear. And I think when I was like 6, I started taking violin lessons, and Bella also did as well, but that did not stick, and so we put the violins down. And I think a few years later, my older sister got a ukulele at a garage sale for $11, and she started writing songs on this ukulele.
Yeah.
I kind of got jealous that she had an instrument to sing to, so I picked up the guitar as well, and we started playing songs together and writing songs together, and I think early 2017 is when we started playing our first shows. We kind of got ready for those shows by busking on the streets, and that's how a lot of venue owners found out about us as well.
That's very cool, and I had read that. Talk to me a little bit about the busking. So what was it that made you, was that just instead of playing out a professional gig, you just said, let's just get out on the street and see what kind of reception we get from people?
Yeah, I think it was just so early in our career that we weren't looking at venues yet, but by busking, a lot of venue owners would see us and ask us to come to their place and play for them.
And we still have fans from busking that are with us to this day.
It's insane. Yeah, just the act of kindness of just standing there and, helping a musician get by is amazing.
That's incredible. So those early gigs when you first started out, was that at that point it was a duo, but Olivia, I think it was you with your older sister, and you guys started out that way before Emma eventually joined. Was that kind of the natural progression?
So, I'm Emma, and this is Bella. So it started out with me and my older sister, Olivia. And we were that duo of the Burney Sisters, I think, until late 2019. And Bella was always at our shows. She was usually doing, cartwheels in the back or something crazy. But then people started to ask, when is the little sister going to join the band? And I think she made her debut on our Christmas single in late 2019. And then when COVID started happening, we had all this time to actually put into her joining the band. And I think in 2021, that's when like she actually started playing like venues and everything with us. So she picked up the bass, and we were the trio until I think 2023, and our older sister left the band to pursue other interests. And I think we've been this duo since April of 2023.
Yep, and we were fortunate enough. I believe you guys have played 20 Front Street before, and we had the trio at one point. But now moving moving into the new duo, talk a little bit about what that transition was like. Obviously, that forced some new things in terms of just kind of the dynamic of the band, but writing, of course, and then was it with the lead singing and stuff like that. What was that transition like to kind of to form the new duo?
So Olivia did most of the lyrical writing in the band for the years that she was in the band. And so her leaving kind of pushed Bella and I to become writers.
Yep.
And we hated that for so long until
we were so scared of it.
Yeah, we went to a songwriting retreat in Lubbock, Texas last year. And that's kind of when we found our love for writing, because we realized, it's just people sitting around in a room throwing out dumb ideas till one sticks, and we've just been writing a lot ever since then.
Very cool. So the new EP, this is kind of the first set of 5 songs that come from those writing sessions and stuff that you guys were kind of learning to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so. One of the tracks, which is Elaine, that's going to be on that one. I think I wrote that when I was 11, so it kind of it's the stand out. But yes, the others have been since I think last August and on.
Okay, and I know we talked there a little bit at the beginning, talking about your childhood of that variety of instruments that you guys have touched on. But that I was blown away when I looked at the list. I mean, it says Emma, fiddle, cello, guitar, bass, piano, banjo, and Bella, bass. So I mean, with this new music, how much of that do you guys pull from, or how many different of those instruments do you guys kind of play into the new music?
So I can only confidently, I'd say, play guitar, piano, cello, and violin. Bella is obviously a much better bassist
player,
than I am. So on the recordings, I play a lot of strings. Which I don't usually do live just because I don't have 7 hands. But, yeah, that you'll hear a lot on this album is a lot of string parts. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, of course, one part of being an artist or kind of the new duo is the music part, and we're talking a lot about the new music coming out. But the other side is also just kind of navigating the independent musician and everything else that goes along with that. So I know we talked about a tour going to go along with this, but how is it being an independent musician and trying to do that and all the other things that come along with the touring and the releasing of the music?
It's very hard sometimes,
being independent is really difficult, but after a while of, working and, just
getting into the routine.
Keep on doing it.
Yeah.
It pays off after a while.
One thing we've been really focusing on the past 6 months or so is social media. And we used to dread social media, but no. There's actually some fun behind it, because we have a schedule and we're actually trying to keep up with it. And, it's just crazy when you first have the idea of like, oh, I'm going to become a professional musician. You don't know how many things are actually going to be on your plate. But it's worth it.
Well, and so many artists I talk to say the same thing about the social media. It's just such a love-hate relationship. Oh, I dread it sometimes. But you just mentioned having fun with it. So what are you doing now that's made it a little bit more fun? I'm interested to hear about that.
Yeah. Well, so actually we've been working with a creative director who also helps us with our social media. I think we have a meeting with her in just a couple days. But she has helped us actually get a plan in place so that we know what to make on which days so that we can kind of have it ready to go even on busy days.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. She has like a whole Google spreadsheet of like what we like, what we're willing to do, and then she puts them like all down so we know exactly.
All the way down to the captions.
Yeah, all the way down to the captions. Yeah, she's amazing. Her name is Chelsea Francis, and I think more people should know about her.
That's amazing, and again, I'm interested to hear that stuff because again, I talk to so many artists, and all of them seem to be somewhere in that same boat. So that's exciting to hear. So the other thing I read was that's new is you guys made a move as well. and that
Mhm.
you relocated to Huntsville, Alabama. Is that correct?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so obviously I know there's probably some go between with Nashville as well, but what sparked that move, and what is I know I've talked to a few other artists. I actually just last month talked to Morgan Miles, and she was talking about Muscle Shoals, and so
Mhm.
just tell me a little bit about why that area.
Yeah, so we moved down to that area because we wanted to get closer to the Nashville area.
Okay.
But what we didn't really know before moving there was how prominent the music scene was in Huntsville alone.
Yep.
I think they're the first city in the entire country that has a music office just for the city. And so we're a part of that program since it's brand new. And they've given us grants for going on tour.
Very cool.
The amount of artists in like a 5 mile radius that are willing to write and do collaborations is just absolutely amazing. Like the Muscle Shoals area also is not that far.
Yep.
And we go there multiple times a week, and we go to Nashville multiple times a week. So it's just kind of a wonderful place to live, and they're really trying to build it up for the music community.
Yes.
They're kind of trying to make it like a Nashville of Alabama, which is really, really cool.
That's very cool. And it's nice that you can just go in either direction. You can get to Muscle Shoals, or you can get to Nashville pretty quickly, and and use that as kind of a home base.
Exactly, yeah.
It's amazing.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about the tour. I know that's coming up as well. Obviously, you're going to make a stop at 20 Front Street, but is it still the listening room? Are you still doing a lot of listening rooms? Is there some house shows mixed in? What is the tour going to look like?
Yeah.
So our tour, this is a really exciting tour because we have some really great venues. And let's see, like we're playing some art centers, we're playing some theaters, you know, a lot of listening rooms as well. We love listening rooms because, you know, people are listening, you know, and that's really special. I don't think we have many house concerts. I think we might have one or two on like a farm sort of thing, but it's still like a venue.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of the dates are on our website. It's theburneysisters.com, and I think I can guarantee pretty much every venue anybody decides to go to will be an amazing venue.
Yep. And then of course we're heading towards summer, which is festival season. Will you guys be playing some festivals this summer as well?
We're working on it. We don't have a bunch on the books, but we're trying to get them on there.
Cool. And one festival, I know this was kind of a highlight recently. You guys were on a festival. You guys were a part of Camo, I believe. And what a cool experience that must have been. I think
it was amazing.
Joseph invited you up on stage. You ran into Jeff Tweedy. I've talked to so many artists over the years that have had a chance to be on that boat. What was that experience like?
It was one of the best experiences we've ever had. We actually met our producer who introduced us to our creative director on that boat. We met, you know, a lot of amazing musicians that we still stay in touch with. It's just one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do as a musician.
Yeah, and we were one of the 3 that got to be on that boat from voting. Zaragoza and Twisted Pine, and they are some of the most talented people I have ever met, and we're still friends with them to this day. They're amazing.
That's very cool. I know the Rock Boat does a vote too to add the last few people to the roster. So with that, how many sets did you guys play on the boat?
I think we played 3 official sets, but there were like also 3 collaboration shows that we were a part of.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And those were some of my favorites.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. Now, of course, you'll be at 20 Front Street on March 28th. You guys are coming back as we've had you before, but what can people expect from the show on March 20th? We've talked a lot about new music. I'm sure some of that will be incorporated in, but what can people expect when they come to see you on March 28th?
A lot of harmonies, a lot of new music, just a whole new vibe. Honestly, we've been told by a lot of people, even on the last few shows, that it just seems completely different from a year ago. So I'd say it's worth it to check out, y'all. Come see us.
Super cool. And one thing I always like to ask too as part of the podcast is, this is a question I've ended with many of the artists, is what is something right now you're listening to or is getting heavy rotation on your playlist, or maybe even someone you've seen live recently that kind of blew your mind? Who are you guys listening to that's kind of an inspiration for you guys?
Yeah, so people ask me if I have new music I'm listening to, and I'm like, well, I have music I'm listening to that's new to me.
Yeah.
But Emma and I always listen to old music, and something I've been really getting into is like the old Donny Hathaway records are absolutely my favorite right now. So I have those on repeat like constantly.
I've been listening to a lot of like Brandy Carlisle, Susan Tedeschi, and I've also been getting into Madison Cunningham stuff a lot. She's amazing. So a lot of female vocals on my playlist right now.
And I always ask that question kind of selfishly because I want to know maybe what I'm missing or what I need to get back into, even if it's older. So I always ask so that I can add new things to my playlist.
Yes.
So, kind of wrapping up here, but I do want to touch just kind of on what it is to be a sibling duo. Again, I think of some of the ones over the years I've had the pleasure to meet and know, like the Talbot brothers, and it's always an interesting dynamic to me of, you're not only siblings, but you are now working together. And I think I read something that said when you guys actually are working with other performers, it almost can become frustrating because they're not as used to how you guys are so used to working together, and they may not pick things up as quickly as your sibling does. Does that almost become a frustration point?
That's so true. It can be, yes, for sure. We have to kind of pull it back when we're working with some people because it's like, like
they don't share my brain.
But our bond is just so close, and sometimes I think it might be closer than someone who doesn't work with their sibling, you know.
I just think because we've been around each other for so long, but also have worked with each other for so long, we know how our phrases are, singing and everything like that when we're working together, and how we want harmonies to sound like without having to speak about it to each other.
Is that part of I also read this, which I loved. It was like Burney Sisters 3.0. Is that kind of the new kind of moving forward? What can be expected from the Burney Sisters?
Yeah, pretty much. It's the third rendition of the Burney Sisters, but we are still the Burney Sisters.
There you go.
Well, we are super excited to have you back at 20 Front Street. Again, they will be here on March 28th. Tickets are still available at 20frontstreet.com. Super excited to have you, and we're looking forward to the new music. Can't wait to see more of that. Again, there's going to be a new single in April, and just look forward to what should be a very exciting 2025 for the Burney Sisters.
Yes.
Excited.
Can't wait to play. We're so excited.
All right. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks so much for doing this, and we will see you on March 28th.
See ya.
Bye.